Hi everyone, welcome back. What a day not to have to work. It's beautiful this morning, but it's a sunny morning that's followed 4 or 5 days of heavy rain, and I've not been able to get down to the plot, so I'm really happy to be back and happy to see that the rains helped kickstart the overwintering onions too. But unfortunately the rains also helped to kickstart the weeds, and they are making a major comeback. Hi again. Well, I've warmed up now, the sun's out, I've swept all the paths, done a little bit of tidying up on the no-dig plot as well. The birds were getting into the 2 smaller beds with the wired cloche hoops that you can see in front of us, and they were getting bathed in the soil and making a real mess, and that's where I've got the elephant garlic. So I've tidied the soil up and covered them with the cloches, and hopefully they'll be left alone now. And I've also taken the first sprouts of the season, but the sprouts have really suffered with whitefly this year. I don't ever remember it being quite so bad for whitefly, and they're just in the air everywhere. There's not really a great deal you can do about it, but I do have to take some more of the yellowed leaves off and tidy up the soil underneath. So, but there are plenty of sprouts. They're not as good as they've been in previous seasons, I don't think, but there are quite a few that look quite solid and are ready to take. And I'm just about to take some dwarf French beans, and you can see that the frost has taken its toll on the tips of the plants. But this is another broad drill, probably about 12 foot wide and about 2 foot across, and the tips may have been affected, but as you can see the flowers haven't been, and they've gone on to produce some really nice beans. So I want to go through now and take quite a few off wherever are ready, and then if we do get any severe frosts, at least we'll have had a fair few beans. We've already had 2 substantial meals, and I'll show you what I've picked when I've been through the row. Well, there weren't quite as many as I thought there were, but there are easily enough for a few meals. And these beans were sown, I think, in the middle of July this year. And I think in future we may do the final sowing in a flat bottom drill like this, perhaps at the end of June, just so that we miss any early frosts, you know, like the ones we've had in this last couple of weeks. And we didn't do as many drills as well this year. We only did 3, whereas in previous seasons we've done 5 or 6. But I didn't need as many to preserve this year, and that's one of the reasons I didn't. So next season we'll probably do 4, I would say. 4, possibly 5 drills. And as I say, we'll do the last sowing a little bit earlier. Ground's drying up nicely now, and I've got quite a few jobs to do. I need to take the leaves off those sprouts, but I also need to take my strawberry runners as well. So it's coming up to lunchtime now, so that may be it for this morning. I'll catch you later. Welcome back. Had a brief lunch, and the weather's too lovely really to let go to waste, so I'm back down on the plot. And I thought to do a little bit more harvesting because we need some carrots for tea tonight, and this is a 10 by 5 foot bed on the no-dig plot, and this grass really needs a cut, but I've not been able to get to it. And these are the carrots that I've just pulled, and these are all of the carrots. I've not thrown any away, and they're all in pretty good condition. This is the Chanteray red cord carrot, wedge shaped, and they're pretty clean, and they grow really well in these no-dig beds, and they're very sweet as well. Just happened to be in the supermarket the other evening, It's not very often that I go into supermarkets now, but when I do, I always go down the veg aisle, like a little bit of an anorak, and check out the prices. And these were much more expensive than the standard carrots, main crop carrots. And I think it was a kilo in a tray, and I think they were £1.80. So they're quite expensive compared to some of the carrots that you see for 50p a bag. So but I don't think we've quite got a kilo there, but they are really lovely carrots, and just a nice size to peel and cut lengthways into 4 carrot sticks, and there's easily enough there for the 2 of us for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 meals. So they're a really lovely carrot, the Chantilly red cord, and I'll continue to grow them. They're not the heaviest yielding, but you can plant them quite close together and not do very much in the way of thinning out, and they always seem to come good, and yeah, very tasty. Well, the birds are in fine form today. The sunflowers are starting to die back now. It's really sad when they go over, but they've been beautiful this year. And I just walked past the Belfast sink, and again saw that the spring onion have done really well with the rain that we've had, and I'm going to take some of these and we'll have them with our packed lunches, probably chopped and put on sandwiches. But these look really nice. These were a very late sowing, and I think they might be the Dutch, I forget the name, it's something blood, isn't it? But they're a red spring onion, and again a little spot with manure and my own compost. It's only 20 inch by 14 inch, but it's really nice just to pop a few late spring onions in, and they're always welcome, aren't they, as well, this time of the year, just coming into their own at the right time. I've got some in the greenhouses as well, and I planned this year to try and overwinter in slightly deeper trays some of the spring onions, so that we can continue to eat them right into the winter, and then into early spring as well. So we'll get a few of these picked, and they'll be enjoyed in our lunch boxes. Hi everyone, welcome back. Early finish today, and I just want to top dress this bed on the 3rd plot with spent compost. We had all the brassicas on this bed, and some of them went to seed in high summer, but what remain seem to be doing quite well. We've got some January Kings and some mini Autumn Savoy, and if we just pull back a little bit, we can see that the bed's covered with hay, and it had about a foot's depth of hay, but that's settled down nicely now, and it's no longer green, it's nice and brown. So we'll get this covered up and make the most of the spent tomato compost. Well folks, that's one half of the 18 by 9 foot bed completed, and it's taken 16 35 litre pots. Granted, the pots only had about 25 litres each in them, but that makes in total about 300 litres. So it just shows you that with a bed that takes about 600 litres just to give it a 2-inch covering, but it's half done, so I think I've still got about a dozen or 14 35 litre pots left with the spent compost. So with a bit of luck, it might just cover this side, because I think I have covered just more than half. I've gone more than halfway into the bed. So that can wait for another day. I need to bring the pots of spent compost outside as well, because they're very, very dry, and if we get some rain they'll soften up. I'll just show you the January Kings that are hearting up nicely. One or two have had quite a good pecking by the odd pigeon, and then up at the top here we've got some mini autumn Savoy. It's the first time that I've grown these, and I'm not certain how big they're going to get, but as soon as they're solid, even if they're only that size, I'm going to start and take them. Take a couple of weeks, and I've got 6 here and about 8 in another bed, so it should last us through autumn. The second batch of cut and come again lettuce is coming on great guns. You can see I've got 2 trays here, one of mixed oriental leaf and one of red and green salad leaf, and we're working our way through the first 2 trays. Everything else is growing on nicely. We've got some red kitten baby leaf spinach coming through here okay as well. Sweet corn's doing fine. I've got some pak choy here, and I've got some pak choy in the other greenhouse, and I'll show you those because I've put the strawberry runners in the other greenhouse as well, so we'll look at those together. We're in the large 16x8 greenhouse now on the new half plot. I'll give you a little glimpse of the new half plot. You have to turn a blind eye to the condition of the plot because it's not had much attention this year. It was a task to get the greenhouse up and 4 raised beds built, and we managed to do that, and we've grown things in the beds. So it's not been a wasted year on this plot, but with a lot of weed to remove. As you can see, everything's saturated because it's just been neglected. But the greenhouse has served us really well. We've had tomatoes and cucumbers and chilies and a workstation in this greenhouse, and this is where I've chosen to keep the strawberry runners. I'm going to water them before I finish today, and I've got 33 here, and all I've done is I've taken the plants that were well established in the furrows between the rows, the ones that I could take out with a clump of soil so they were well held together, and I've just topped them up with the soil and manure that was on top. So we've got 33, and we remove a third of the strawberries each year. We've got 6 long rows. The rows are about 15 or 16 foot long, and as I say, we've got 6. We replaced 2 last year, we'll replace 2 this year, and should take about probably 2 dozen plants to do that, and then we'll have a dozen left over. But some of them might stay in this greenhouse for a while, and we'll get some early strawberries. And in the back, in the grow room, which is really warm, I've got some more cut and come again lettuce, some red kitten baby spinach leaf, and some pak choy and tatsoi, I think it's called. And the plan is to let these seedlings or plantlets grow on a little bit till they become a little bit more robust, and then I'm going to take them out and plant them in these deep, I think they're about 13 or 14 centimetre deep, these deep watering trays, and I'll probably put about 8 plants in each tray, and I've got 3 of those. I might put more in. I might put a dozen in, but then I know I've grown them before, pak choy, and they do get quite large. But there'll be a fair amount of soil. They'll not be growing at a great rate during the latter end of the autumn. So we're going to give it a go anyway. And another tray down here. So you can see, looking through, that the The half plot is in an abysmal state, absolutely abysmal. We put some late sweet corn in and we've had some of that, some kohlrabi, potatoes and carrots. What I didn't tell you earlier in the season was that a horse, after Hurricane or Storm Alley came our way, a horse managed to break through the fence and ate all of our Autumn King carrots in these beds here. And these beds are 13 feet by 5 feet, and they were beautiful carrots. And the horse, when I arrived one morning, was stood in the middle of the bed and chomped away all the tops of the carrots. So there might still be a pound or two left. I've still to turn over the soil, but yeah. But this part of the allotment was skimmed completely back to bare soil. And as I say, we carved out the ground in order to get 3 beds here, and we've got one just here with some Autumn Savoy and Greyhound. The horse helped itself to some of those Greyhound cabbage as well. But we deliberately left the grass because whilst we're trying to be completely organic, this part of the allotment is completely and utterly saturated with mare's tail. So everything's going to be cleared out. If we get a week of dry weather, we're going to spray the entire plot. I'm not very happy about it, but it's got to be done. And then I'm going to immediately cover all of the ground with membrane, and then we're going to put some slab paths in and hopefully wood chip all of the area that's not productive. And up at the top there, we're going to have a fruit cage, and we're going to transplant or transport, if you will, some of the blackcurrant and gooseberry plants that are in the orchard currently. So that's some of the other sowing that I've been doing, and yeah, we're hoping to have something going on in the greenhouses this winter. Catch you later. Well, I think that's just about it for this update. All that remains for me now to do is to take home some of the harvest to my cousin Ron, who normally helps out, but he's got a bad back at the minute. And look at these, Ron. Some beautiful student parsnips, about 14-15 inch long, and we've got a couple of beautiful Musselburgh leeks, some Chantilly red cord carrots, a couple of baby greyhound there, a couple of butternut squash, Ron's share of the remaining apples, Granny Smiths and Belle de Boscop, and then we've got some nice grapes, and just over here we've got some nice cut and gum again lettuce. So off we go, and hope to see you again soon, and take care. All the best. Cheers.